Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to our first show of 2026. I hope this one finds you all well. And we've actually given the show's got a name now, okay? So this will all become more clear in the weeks ahead. But the show is now called Don't Start Me Talking, and you'll all discover why it's called that very, very soon. But anyway, we have got a lot of stuff to get through, tonight, I can tell you. I mean, there was me thinking I'd just take, ease my way into 2026 because not much is going to happen. I mean, people are just getting back to work. The world's just resetting after the last couple of weeks of mayhem. And so it's all going to be fine. There's not going to be too much of vast interest. And then, of course, well, Donald Trump happened, didn't he? And so we have a situation whereby several topics I want to get through. Now we got, the big story, which is actually, Jed, if you have a look in your inbox, you'll see an image. I'd like to start off with the Trump image. Hi, Northern Monkey, by the way. Hi, Matt, all the way from New Zealand. No, the other one. Yeah, that one. I think this sums up 2026. Like, we're only 5 days in, right? Bring up this image. This is our hemisphere. And that's actually from the official White House account, by the way. That is coming out of Trump Central. And he's making a point. And they've made a point with incredible power over the past couple of days. So obviously, folks, you've all been aware of the fall of Maduro in Venezuela. He who claimed to be president, but actually isn't even recognized by a president as president by many countries, including the European Union, right? And Trump kept warning him. He kept telling them, you got to stop what you're doing. You got to stop the drug dealing. You got to stop the criminal activity. And what did Maduro do? Well, he danced. Did you see him? He did the Trump dance, YMCA. He did that. And he mocked Trump. And where is he today? Well, he's in New York, which is fantastic. So I can't believe the stuff we've seen in the last couple of days. I mean, I've been commenting on stuff for a long, long time. But honestly, this is earth-shattering stuff we've seen with what's happened. We've seen essentially this fake president and his wife uplifted by Delta Force. They went into Caracas. So things we're basically having crackers in Caracas, right? They swooped in, took him out, flew him back. He's up in, did the perp walk in New York, where he's currently going to be facing trial. I mean, initially, I got to be honest with you, because I kind of like this notion of we all focus on our own countries and not other countries. Initially, I wasn't sure, but I'm all in on it now. It's absolutely the right thing. The states have done, the Trump regime has done. Go in, take this guy out, absolutely fine by me. And the ramifications are enormous, though, because in the first instance, what it means is, basically, this is the FO part of FAFO. So Maduro and the gang did the FA bit, and now they've got the FO bit, and it's taking them to New York City Penitentiary, where he will be facing very interesting trial, and it's great to see. Love to see it. And of course, all the liberals, all the pathetic liberals out there are all kind of weeping, saying that it's awful, this. You've broken the international rules-based system. Northern Monkey says, apparently they made him watch the destruction of Chavez's tomb from the helicopter. This is quality stuff, Northern Monkey. This is amazing stuff. Yeah, I think so. I mean, Chavez's tomb. I mean, Chavez, absolute gangster. I was delighted to see that he had his tomb had been blown up. Probably an accident, accidents will happen, so to speak. But yeah, so that was another good moment in the it is a change in sort of in regime. I mean, it's not totally, because Maduro's number two. She's now assuming the interim role of president. But I mean, I think Donald Trump might have something to say about that. I think Venezuela better not mess about any longer. Like, it's not regime change as such, and the Trump regime have said that. Trump and co have said that. It's just that hi Joe Cool. It's just that a point is being made here. As I said in the beginning, this is the American continent, and this is our sphere of influence. And I'm sorry about that for all those leftists who started to cry about this and started to say, "Oh no, look what he's done! He's trampling all over international law. Oh, he's just not following the rules." Whose rules? Who sets the rules then? Hi, JG Media. Nice to see you there as well. Yeah, who sets these rules? Remind me. Who sets the international rules? Oh yeah, nobody. Because America follows America's laws. It doesn't have to follow any other laws, right? So that's something that we should be clear about. And Marco Rubio has been fantastic about this. Have you seen some of the stuff Marco Rubio has put out? I mean, he said that people were saying, well, the European Union aren't too happy with you. And he points out that, well, all due respect, the European Union doesn't get to tell us what we do in our backyard. Brilliant, absolute smackdown. And Ursula von der Leyen, I mean, she must sleep uneasy. Whenever she hears a helicopter at night, I wonder, does she think, oh no, Delta Force could be coming for me next? I mean, yes, Northern Monkey, the so-called rules that they're unhappy about Trump breaking are set by the World Economic Forum, the UN, IMF, all these hateful tentacles of the globalist octopus. That's who sets the rules, right? So basically what Trump's done, he's just exploded. He's exploded that whole system. He's shown how impotent these people are. Have you seen all the tweets that they've been putting out about, well, we're examining waiting on more information before we say anything. They don't know what to say. They don't know what to say because they're all scared as hell of trying to cross Trump, because they've seen what happened to Maduro, because he's when he multiple times crossed Trump. And by the way, the Colombian president, see, if I was him, I'd be a bit careful. You never know what's going to be happening, tapping at your door in the middle of the night. That's another one that needs sorted out. So, I mean, this is fantastic stuff on Venezuela. And, all the lefty liberals protesting, on a bridge in Dublin outside the US embassy in London, or all these, the sort of the rent-a-crowd, the sort of people that they've just swapped their Gaza flags. They've put their Gaza flags down and they've lifted up their Venezuela flags. We stand with Venezuela. But as I've pointed out, number one, Maduro, he wasn't the president. He's not a legitimately elected president. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is the Venezuelan people, the actual people, have been out in the streets celebrating. Have you seen the sign, the street signs? Hello, Chris Davies, up in the Lake District, I see. Lovely part of the world. Apparently, Chris, they're building a big mosque there. Go and check it out. Get back to me with some photographs. So the excuse me. So sorry. No, what's this? We've got. I'm trying to just see this here. What? Oh yeah, street scenes. Yeah. Sorry, yeah. Someone said, "Oh, it's not actually a proper street scenes." Look, people in Venezuela are liberated. These people are liberated from the tyranny of that thug Maduro. And here's another thing, by the way. I mean, Venezuela is a very, very wealthy country. This is good. That's a great image. Some of the images have been fantastic about this one. I mean, just for the first few days of this year, the memes are unbelievable. I mean, there's so much more I want to get to, by the way, because I want to get to Tim Walz, who's suddenly turned the page on his entire career. I'm going to talk about what's going to happen in Iran and happening in Iran at the moment as well. I mean, there's just so much of it. But I mean, here we have just ordinary Venezuelans who should have decent lives, and they're not because the narco thug Maduro is taking all the dosh. These people are struggling. So this Donald Trump's done them a tremendous favor. No wonder they're out celebrating him. As our friend here, yeah, I mean, again, thousands march in Venezuela to protest U.S. threats, show support for President Maduro. It's such a laugh. This, I mean, obviously the Chinese, China are paying. I think there's a lot of these. We still support Maduro. I think that's coming from China, whatever. But it's all a bit sad. The reality is the vast numbers of people in Venezuela are pleased to be rid of the plague that is Maduro. And even though the Western media aren't happy about it, I know they're not happy about it. Here's another scene. The videos have been epic. And by the way, the videos coming out of Iran are epic as well. And we'll get to that. But this is people power. It just really is people power that we're seeing. And the consequences are going to be enormous. Enormous. I mean, basically, Trump's told China, Russia, and the rest of them, you keep your noses out of our hemisphere. And why shouldn't they? I mean, people said, but what's Trump doing in Venezuela? Why don't they ask, what's China? What is China doing in Venezuela? What is Russia doing in Venezuela? What's their strategic interest in Venezuela? Yeah, the media won't ask those questions, And as our good friend Chris Davies says here, Trump could pull a dying child from the sea, and the left would say he was starving the sharks. Very good one, Chris. That's excellent. Yeah, but that's true. If we discovered a cure for cancer, they'd say, "Why did you take so long to do it? How many died needlessly?" So and then of course the other thing about Maduro. I mean, most sensible people have distanced themselves from the Maduro regime, but not all. No. Sinn Féin down in the Republic of Ireland have got themselves a problem because they sent people along, including, I think, an elected representative, to be present at a so-called inauguration in 2019. Poor old Sinn Féin have been caught out in this one. They're left holding the baby. And so as they went to praise the dictator, and then they turned around and said, this one really got me. Sinn Féin said, this is terrible. Imagine abducting somebody in the form of President Maduro. Abducting people? Sinn Féin abducting people? The IRA spent 30 years abducting people, some of whom never came back. I mean, the unspeakable hypocrisy on the left. But it's all the usual suspects. Have you seen Richard Burgon in Parliament? All the usual lefty rabble have woken up into this new year. Yeah, Hamas have condemned it. That's right. I laughed at that. Hamas condemns the US attack on Venezuela. Well, it wasn't an attack on Venezuela. It was the removal of the narco tyrant Maduro. That's what it was. But yeah, Hamas aren't happy. Oh, well. I mean, Hamas aren't happy. The BBC definitely aren't happy about this one. I mean, they've been trying to find a way to spin it in terms of how can we make Trump look bad, even though it seems to have gone down really well. How do we make Trump look bad? And they're still struggling on it, I'm trying to. I need to tell you what I need to do here. I need to see things a little bit more. Yeah. This is it. Yeah, absolutely. Look, this was it's brilliant. This actually 2 days ago, the Chinese came to see Maduro. There you go. You see the photograph on the left, and 24 hours later, he's in handcuffs. He's on his way to New York. I mean, this is magnificent stuff. I think you'd agree with that one there. I have to say, most impressed by what Trump has done, and the fact that he's triggered so many. All the right people, all the people that are saying, free Palestine. Now they're free Maduro, and very shortly it's going to be free the Ayatollahs, because these people are consistently on the wrong end of history. I do this commentary over all the years, right? Yeah. Here's another exclusive video. The view from Maduro's room at night. Here he comes, the beloved VP, my namesake, VP Jerry Vance, and he's memed up. Great stuff. Honestly, the memes have been so good in the first 5 days of this year. I'm panicking because how can we keep this level of good memes going? I don't know. Well, there's another one. Yeah, this is McDonald's worker. Saves Venezuela. So you gotta admit, it's. I mean, and actually, I tell you something. Although I have my moments where I am very critical of certain social media platforms like X. I mean, this is a brilliant time to be on X, because the stuff that's going out there with regard to Maduro, it's brilliant. It's just brilliant. Not just the actual news, which is good, of course, but the memes. It's amazing. I was out for dinner last night, and talking to ordinary people who are a wee bit more normie than, say, you lot and me. But even they'd seen some of the stuff and they were having a laugh about Maduro, you know. So Trump has absolutely monstered this one. And it does mean, like, you know, yeah, Carl says some of them are they are. Some of these memes are very funny because they make the point. Here this guy is one moment down in Caracas posing strong man. Come and take me, Trump. See if you're tough enough. He found out. He found out, didn't he? I have to say, Delta Force, which was the elite unit that came to capture him, has done a fantastic job. Chris said, white tweets have been going viral. Has your shadow ban been lifted? They have been. I don't know, Chris. I did something I'll tell you about offline, and that might have made a difference. This was another one. This was yours truly. This was yeah. I mean, honestly, memes. Where would we be without memes? That's what I would simply ask you, because or maybe it's just in the moment. You see, when events like this happen, who actually goes to listen to the BBC? Who cares what the BBC thinks about anything? Oh yeah, here's our friend again. Yeah, this was him challenging Trump. Was it the White House did this? Yeah, it's brilliant. Another one. I mean, whoever's doing social media for Trump is a genius, certified genius, whoever it is. Hi, James Jameson, by the way. Thank you so much for popping in to see us tonight. We've got a lot of stuff to get through. But I wanted to do the first 20 minutes or so on what's been happening in Venezuela. And I mean, my only thing would be, as I see James has suggested, could Delta Force perhaps pay a visit to 10 Downing Street? I'm sure we could send the coordinates to President Trump, or maybe, just maybe to the European Union. I mean, that would be another good place to visit. You see, they're all, as the expression goes, bricking it, because they all fear Trump. They've always been afraid of Trump, but now he's done this. They really, really fear him because he's shaking everything up. Venezuela goes. Colombia could be next. And we'll get to Iran in a minute. So, the world order that they want has been absolutely challenged. And it's happened in the space of a couple of days. And, apart from the fact that they stamp their little feet and act ever so petulant, what do they do about it? What do they do? How can they stop Trump? They can't. The United States is the global superpower, like it or not. It just is. And, I think that if nothing, the last few days have really shown that with such a vengeance, But now, before we get to Iran, which I'm going to leave to a little bit longer, I wanted to talk about Tim Walz. Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota. Now, the other thing that's happened in the past Christmas, New Year period, the daycare centers, the learning centers that they have in Minnesota, the good old Somalis run them. So anyway, the Tim Walz, who was, if you remember, if things had have worked out differently, he would now be the Vice President of the United States. Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, the weird guy with the even more weird wife, turning the page, turning the page, turning the page. Remember her? In the summer of 2024, the media were trying to convince you Tim Walz, he's a man's man. He's an everyday guy. He's like a Bruce Springsteen guy of the people. Tim Walz. He's totally normal, and he's no way is he weird, except he was weird as hell. And of course, they all found out in November of 24, and people voted for President Trump in massive numbers. That was a great moment. And then today, oh yeah, this is the clip. We should play this clip. This is a brilliant clip. This is his wife giving a speech. I don't know if we can hear it or not, but no, we can't hear it. But that's her saying, turn the page on Trump, turning the page. We're turning the page. We're getting rid of Trump. We're getting rid of Trump. Well, today, guess what? We got rid of her husband because Tim is stepping down. He will not seek re-election as governor of Minnesota. Why do you think that is? Well, might it in any way be linked to the fact that one of the biggest corruption scandals ever in American history has just happened in the state of Minnesota? Oh, right. And this is the Somali daycare centers. The daycare centers that take a lot of money in from the federal sources, right? They got loads of millions in. And the only thing is, they don't actually have any daycare. That was a tricky bit. No daycare involved in these Minnesota daycare centers. Just huge funds flowing in, no care. It might be that there's a bit of corruption going on there. It just might be. And you know something? With all those million, I think a figure I've heard is 9 billion. I think it is arguably one of the biggest scandals, financial scandals in American history. It all happened under the nose of Tim Walz. Yeah, Tim didn't notice. He was too busy telling us that J.D. Vance was weird. He was too busy telling us that J.D. Vance was weird. And this is a Somali's version of well, maybe it's Somali's Got Talent. And actually they do have talent because they're able to scam money in ways that most of us ordinary people could but dream. I mean, the scamming that's been going on there. Minnesota has the largest Somali population. You probably know this in the States. So it's got a big Somali population. That's how Ilhan Omar is in the House because they vote. They're tribal. They vote for their own. But it's the fact that so much has been revealed. So thanks. I'm very happy to go back on with Richard Inman whenever Richard would like. So much has been revealed here that it's not sustainable. Walz knows that I'm not saying he's corrupted. He's corrupted or that he committed fraud. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that it happened under his watch. So the buck stops there, and our Tim's decided to get out. Meanwhile, of course, blaming Trump for everything. Yeah, the scamming of what has been going on is off the. It's incredible. You have to laugh at it, actually. James Jameson says, "Taking pirates become a pirate nation." Yeah, actually, it's a very good point. Very good point. I'm definitely not saying that. I'll tell you something else. I'm definitely not saying that Brigitte Macron is a man. I'm definitely not saying that because I'm sure you saw today in the news that Brigitte, a court in Paris, I think it was, found 10 people guilty. Yeah, you can't. Liberal white women, biggest problem we've got, folks. We just don't. These liberal white women are an existential threat to everyone. They love their Somali neighbors, even as the Somali neighbors fraud them out of billions. The stupidity of liberal white women. Anyway, back to Brigitte Macron. So did you see that? She successfully sued let me get this right, or 9 or 10 people who had claimed that she was a he, and the French court found in favor of her. So I think that's an interesting. Did you know that her favorite song is "She"? Did you know that? Well, it's rumored to be that. I might have made that up. I might not. Yes, indeed. Chris Davis, you beat me to it. So, another brilliant meme. This meme. Look at that. If we don't fund Somali daycare centres, how will the children ever learn? I'm sure you know the layer comes from the fact that one of their learning centres, they couldn't spell learning properly. And they just written a learning centre. Oh, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant stuff, this one. I mean, we've honestly, 26 has started with such a bang. It's what's this one here? We've got, what's this? See, I can't make it. Higher viral video. Yeah, well, this is, of course, the Daily Mail finally catching up, mind you, about 6 days later. How this guy, what's his name? Tell me his name here. I can't read it from here, but he went in with his camera. Him and his friend went in, and they just exposed these absolute frauds. Now, I'm not saying it's all Somali daycare centres are frauds. I'm not saying that for 1 second. Just quite a lot of them are frauds. Maybe the other ones are trying to be frauds, but haven't quite succeeded. They haven't opened their learning centres, but learning centres. Imagine, and you're paying vast amounts of money. Now this looks like, this is a video of so-called American. This is another Minnesota politician, and he's got, as you can see, the Somali flag. There's loads of Somalis in Somali dress in the audience. Doesn't look terribly butch though, does he? Have to be something. There's something there. Nick Shirley, thanks, Chris. Nick's done a fantastic job. And actually, doesn't it tell you, this one guy, Nick Shirley, young Christian guy, and his friend, all they needed was like a camera, and they went and they filmed and they asked questions, and it went absolutely viral. And then others have followed. But I mean, Nick Shirley has done more to expose corruption than ABC, NBC, all of them, mainstream media. I mean, they all knew about this. They did nothing. They weren't interested. Nick Shirley, citizen journalist, he should get the Pulitzer Prize for that. I mean, he won't, but he should, because that's what I think journalism should be about. Finding something that's really relevant, exposing a wrong, and that's the right thing to do. So I was very pleased about, I think Nick has a price on his head now, unfortunately. I think there's been threats made to him. James says, has any Somali made any difference to any Western nation? Yeah, they have. Somalis have definitely made a difference. And then the next question is, well, was it a good difference or was it a bad difference? That's where it gets more tricky. But certainly, Tim Walz, the guy who could have been vice president, has announced he will no longer seek re-election for his third term as governor, and the page has been turned on Tim Walz. And I mean, he was such a weird guy. The only thing is, I often wonder, with all those billions of dollars floating around Minnesota, do you think is an outside possibility, just an outside possibility, that some of those billions might have gone and found their way into Kamala and Tim's campaign funds? I don't know. It's a scurrilous rumor if that be the case. Tim Walz, he's done. And as I say, we're only on January the 5th. It's amazing. It's amazing stuff. No, Chris, can I wish your wife a very happy birthday? Tell her a happy birthday from me and thank her for allowing you to put up with me as much as you do. So go and enjoy yourself, Chris. And what we'll do instead is we want to talk about, this guy. You see, Maduro is gone. Tim Walz is gone. And I think, and this is going to be seismic if this happens, The guy we're going to bring up now, he's the next one to go. And if we can just bring him up, there he goes, the supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei. He is reputed to be fleeing to Russia. Don't know if that's true or not. No idea. But JG Media, my wife's a David Vance widow too, Chris. I apologize to all your wives, by the way, but it's just you guys have such good taste. What can I say? Now, back to Iran. So in parallel with all this stuff with Venezuela, Iran just kicked off. And again, the mainstream media, not interested in showing you it. They don't want to talk about it. I wonder why Labour wouldn't want to see an Islamic government being overthrown, by the way. But I answer my own question. So you've seen the street protests in Iran as well. And I'm fortunate to know a couple of Iranians. Now, they're in exile. They are in exile. Yeah, there's some of the images of the protests, which are being met by extreme violence, by the way. Now, President Trump comes into this one, Jed. If you go back to the second Trump tweet, Trump just put this out in the past couple of hours. He says it's not politically correct to use the term regime change, but if the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again, why wouldn't there be a regime change? Mega. I think that's really significant that there, President Trump is plainly calling for regime change, not by sending in Americans, not by sending in, outside forces, but from within. And if you listen back, I know a few Iranians, and this is actually very symptomatic of their views. They're not Muslims. They see themselves as Persian. They hate Islam. And in fact, one of the great myths that the Khamenei regime has perpetrated is to say, oh, Iran, it's 100% Muslim. No, it's not. It's not. By some figures, it's only about 50% Muslim, right? So it's not what we're told it is. And even if it was 100% Muslim, it still wouldn't matter because very good. Thank you for reposting this stream. I stand with my friends in Iran. I absolutely do. I want you guys to get your freedom. I think that, the fantastic civilization that existed in that place, in that geography, which is now called Iran, has been completely subverted and destroyed from 1979. When, amongst other people, the British government were involved in getting the Ayatollah. You remember, all the way from France, he flew, British Airways, I think, and ever since 1979, life's been hell for many Iranian people. And the Iranians that I know, their families got out of Iran back then, in the late 70s, early 80s, and they're very cultured people. They're very intelligent people. They're the salt of the earth people. You would want, you sort of envy them because they're just so good. But they don't exist in, more images coming in from Iran. Now, as Trump also said, I think about 2 weeks ago, that if Iran was to use violence and start killing people, that would have a very bad outcome for Iran. Well, that's what they're doing. They are doing that. So I don't know how this one's going to work. I thank you, Peruz. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right on the stream here. The people of Iran are showing tremendous courage. They don't have necessarily the arms and stuff to be able to take on the Ayatollahs, the mullahs' resources. But this is epic. Look at, again, this is another, I wonder, I think that's just a photograph, isn't it? Yeah. This was an image of the supreme leader going up in flames. Isn't that symbolic? It's absolutely amazing. And I mean, Iran has seen other uprisings this isn't the first one we've seen, but I think this is very significant, this one. And some people are saying, oh no, but this happened before, cover revolutions have never happened. I think this could be the moment. I think we could wake up tomorrow morning, the morning after, and you will see that the mullahs have fled. This guy that we put up, the Ayatollah Khamenei, Khamenei, he will fly. I reckon he'll leg it to Russia. But again, yeah, this guy here, yeah, I mean, he succeeded the first Khomeini, and this is Khamenei. The names are very similar, very confusing. They're all called the same, but uh, but they're all wicked anyway, and they've kept the boot of oppression on the Iranian people. So, as I say, I mean, again, I'm sure the lefties out there will be saying, "Oh, we stand with the Ayatollah. We stand with the Grand Supreme Leader." No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't stand with him at all. And if he falls, if it happens, and I think it may well happen, that will totally change politics in the Middle East. Iran could well become a more secular nation that allows freedom and free speech and all the things that's been denied since 1979. Yeah, more images of the stuff that's happening there. And again, this is being brought to you, by the way, through social media. This is people with their phones. Yeah, look at that. Capturing these moments, historic moments in Iran. And I mean, there's been so many. Another image I saw today, just to jump back to Venezuela for a second, I saw an image of a statue of Hugo Chavez being dragged through the streets. I don't know if it's there yet or not. Might not. There was an image of him being dragged through the streets. It was wonderful to see. Yeah, no, this is Iran. What a wonderful nation, you see. And it's been subverted and captured by the malignant mullahs who have imposed this theocracy, who have done nothing but fermented terrorism in the region. And, I think that if we could get these people out of Iran and leave it to Iranians to make their own government and system, I'm happy to trust the good nature of the Iranian people. Yeah, that's another one there. The BBC Israeli embassy has accused the BBC of ignoring Iran protests, whilst well, that's a very good point, actually. That is a good point, because anytime anything's happening in Gaza, the BBC were absolutely busting and got to tell us about it. Now this is happening right now as we talk tonight, folks. There are people out in the streets of the towns and cities in Iran risking their lives. Some of them may forfeit their lives. I've seen instances of people who have been killed already. And they are, thanks, by the way, for those of you who are reposting this stream. This is a pro-Iran stream, pro the Iranian people, that is, not the mullahs, not the tyrants, not the Muslim clerics who have kept those people down. Not those who hang gay people, not those who make women cover their faces. I mean, I'm not quite old enough. Yes, Iranians are calling for King Reza Pahlavi. Yeah, Pahlavi. Yes, yeah. Well, have the restoration of your monarchy. Because I was going to say, if you look back prior to 1979, Iran was quite a secular country. Now, yes, I know there was corruption and stuff, but nowhere's perfect. What there wasn't, and people dressed, women dressed, and men dressed in a kind of sophisticated urban fashion, and that is what we might well get back to. This is more instances of. Oh, this is my friend, Marion, talking about the flags being brought down. Yeah, it's just amazing. This is, the way they say if the revolution happens, it'll be televised. Well, no, it won't. It'll be captured on a mobile camera and put up on social media, and that's what you're seeing. And you're seeing it in Venezuela, in Caracas. You're seeing it in Tehran and other parts of Iran. And this is momentous, folks. This is something for us here in the West to cheer on, I believe. I think when you look at the brutality of the theocracy in Iran, and it's been brutal for a very, very long time. You look at what they do, you look at the way they've treated people, some of the horrific things that's been carried out in the name of the supreme leader. Well, I think the supreme leader, as I say, might well be on the next speedy jet to Moscow. And if Putin had any sense, he wouldn't take him there. I mean, there's been a strategic alliance between Russia, uh, Iran, and even Venezuela. How's that working out for you? This is the genius of Donald Trump, of course. He's absolutely reorganizing the world order. It's in ways that I think could be absolutely incredible. James says moderate Islam is a myth. Well, James, all I would say is that I want to see the Iranian people make their determinations themselves. I think that's fair. And I think a lot of them don't want to know about Islam. So I think people should be allowed to worship, of course. But, if you looked at what Iran was like in 1976 and considered what it became only 4 years later, it's incredible. And that pressure's been there since what's that? 46 years, almost 50 years ago, I suppose. That pressure cooker's been building because Iranian people are smart people. They are. They are incredibly smart, talented people who have been suppressed by these clerics, the mullahs, who and every now and again there seems to be a moment when the ordinary people break out. But is this the big moment? Is this the moment when the Ayatollahs fall and flee, and we get Iran back? Because if Iran became like a functional society, then it could make peace with Israel. It could contribute in a positive fashion in the region. It's a very important country, Iran, and I just would like to see that, if for no other reason, for the sake of the Iranian people. I really do. Just like I'm very happy to see what's happening in Venezuela for the sake of the Venezuelan people. We need to understand there's a difference between those at the top of systems and the people who live in the system. Maduro and his cronies were absolutely coining it in Caracas, and the mullahs are doing very well in Tehran. But what about the ordinary people? What about them? And so from a position of being fair-minded, I think all of us should stand with Iran, bring back King Reza Pahlavi, restore Iran to the great nation that it once was. I just think that the timing in all of this is staggering. It's so significant that this is happening. Yes, Northern Monkey says, all the while, the mainstream media is going to tell us they are assessing the situation. No, they're not. Northern Monkey, I reckon, of course I could be wrong, but I think it's over for the mullahs. I think the people have risen up in such numbers that it's probably too much. And there's a lesson for all of us in this, because sometimes we all think, oh, what can we do? There's only a couple of us. How can we oppose the regime? Well, Iranian people are showing us how you oppose the regime. You be courageous. You stand your ground. You won't let the tyrants steamroller over you. The Iranian people are an inspiration at the moment. And yet, I bet any money that if this regime does crumble, the European Union, all the usual suspects will instantly be, oh, well, we're not sure about this. This could be very bad news. We'll have to get one of our people in. So, I don't know, folks. Watching Iranians rise up, to me, makes me sad, because why do Brits not rise up? Why do we not rise up against this monstrosity we have in power? So, for the last few moments, I just want to talk about Keir Starmer, the UK Prime Minister, took to the airwaves yesterday to tell us that he intends to serve to 2029. And even if the elections go really badly for him in May, which they will, he's still going to carry on. He will be Prime Minister and no one can succeed him. I don't know if you watched it. I watched him and I felt a bit sad, but not that sad. I feel more sad. Yeah, I'll be Prime Minister this time next year, Starmer tells the BBC. Is it just me, or is that a little bit pathetic? I think that's pathetic. He won't be Prime Minister by the summer, is my view. I think what's going to happen here in the UK Jen, did you just scroll past another couple of good memes there? I thought I spotted a good meme just going back. There was one about did you see Donald Trump as the new dictator of I'm trying to read, but the eyesight's too not good enough to see it. Anyway, Starmer said he's going to carry on regardless, and he won't. He will be gone. And in his desperation to stay in power, right, as prime minister, he's come out and said that it could be in the UK's national interest to rejoin this is this absolute fraud, rejoin the single market, right? The single market. If that meant success for the UK, he would consider doing it. Now, the reason for that is the people in the shadows behind him, the people in the shadows have got certain agenda points, and that's the number one. For Brexit to be reversed and the UK rolled back into the European Union. That's be under no illusions. That's what they want. Okay, and so there's another one. Yeah, Storm. I mean, look. Oh, I'll do my Keir Starmer. Only Greenland and Denmark should decide its future. Starmer says. Oh, yeah, heads up, Starmer. Nobody cares what you think. You think Donald Trump's listening to you? No. Although I also saw Denmark said, by the way, that if Trump was to invade Greenland, that would be the end of NATO. Did you see that? And I'm thinking, yeah, that's okay. That's good. Happy about that. I hope Trump doesn't invade Greenland, by the way, or at least come to some new arrangement with Greenland. Doesn't have to invade them, but he should. Greenland needs to be taken under the auspices of America. That bit of water all the way around Greenland, it's full of Chinese subs, Russian subs, and Trump realizes that it is geopolitically important that the US controls it. So we should just go and do it. But I'll tell you one thing for certain. Donald Trump will not be listening to Keir Starmer to find out if Keir Starmer thinks this is good or not, because he doesn't care. And I don't know about you folks, but what's so healthy about this past couple of days is you realize the difference between real power and TV conjured up power. Donald Trump is exercising real power. That's what you're seeing in Venezuela. And you might see it in other places as well. Hello, Colombia. And that's real power. TV conjured up power is Keir Starmer ad nauseam telling us that, international law may or may not have been broken here. Well, has it, Keir? Tell us, Sir Keir. Has international law been? Oh, yeah, it's all over. Yeah. You all should be checking out my Substack, by the way. I've written my I Will Survive. Starmer goes for. That wasn't a bad one, actually, Chad. Gloria Gaynor's hit I Will Survive. I reckon Keir Starmer was channeling that yesterday. Once I was afraid, I was petrified. And to Laura Kuenssberg, it was laughable. But check that out in the Substack anyway. The Keir Starmer and Gloria Gaynor sort of stuff that I think I probably uniquely put out. And don't forget to scan the QR code here on the screen if you want to get the Substack, and you'll get lots of good content going out over there. But back to Starmer. So, okay, is there anybody watching this that thinks he's going to survive to 2029? If so, raise your hand and tell me why you think. Because I don't think he's going to survive at all. He thinks he will, but that's like thinking you might win the lottery. There's a really, really, really remote chance you might, and it could happen, but it's probably not going to happen, right? So I don't think Starmer has any chance of survival. And the reason for that will be that when we get to May, which is only, 17 weeks, and the elections happen in Wales and Scotland, and a wee bit in England as well at council level, Labour's going to be smashed. And James Jameson says dictators are hard to shift. Oh, I get that. And I don't think that Starmer would voluntarily resign. He's going to be forced to resign. Once you've lost all these Labour representatives in the Welsh Senate, in the Scottish Parliament, and in some of the English councils, you're going to get an awful lot of angry, yeah, another good meme. What's going to happen to poor Zelensky and all of this, by the way? If I was Zelensky, by the way, I'd be keeping an eye out for Delta Force, because you never know what's going to come and knock into his door as well. So, look, all these Labour politicians, once they've lost their jobs, which will happen in May, they're going to be barreling their way to Starmer. Oh, also a shout out, by the way, to someone who we've had on the show last year, and that was there was a really good parody of Mud's. Those of you of my age will remember Mud had a big Christmas hit with "Lonely This Christmas." So there's a parody version of that called "Freezing This Christmas," and it related back to, remember when Labour took away the cold weather payment to pensioners. So anyway, interestingly enough, I think there is an award ceremony, which I think is happening in Manchester. It may even be tonight. And that song has been nominated for an award. And Andy Burnham's there. So wouldn't it be sweet if Andy Burnham had to give an award? It was just, was it Sir Starmer and the something or another? We had the guy behind it on the show back in December and the previous year as well. It does some really good parody with a message, musical stuff. So will it be Miliband or Rayner? Could it be Andy Burnham, the so-called King of the North? I thought we didn't have kings, by the way. Do we have kings now? It's okay if it's Labour. We can have Labour kings. But whoever it is, anyway, Labour's still absolute mess. Labour's still a disaster. I've written in that, like in one of my Substacks, the problem for Starmer is, number one, Starmer himself is a robot. I mean, honestly, I've met more charismatic, plastic dolls in shops, that sort of plastic dolls. Yeah, I mean, I think that his problem is himself. His problem is his party. I mean, she's going to go. Rachel Reeves will go whenever he goes. And also the fact that, I mean, Labour isn't even a unified party. It's a kind of hodgepodge. There's the extreme lefties, the ones calling for Trump to be arrested because of the issues concerning Maduro. Like this total, and then there's the Muslim elements within it. It's a very splintered party. Love is a many splintered thing. Labour is a very splintered thing, and that's all too obvious. So he's got no personality. And then, of course, the other thing is they want to get Farage at every point. This is all about undermining Nigel Farage. The latest opinion poll came out. I think you may have seen it in the last day or so. It gives, despite the media suddenly saying, "Oh, Reform are declining in the polls," I don't see that. I think they're still doing pretty well in the polls, and they will form a government. I think that's probably what Labour fears most, and that's why Starmer's saying, "Oh, you've got to keep me to stop Nigel Farage and his extreme right policies." There's nothing extreme right about Nigel Farage. I mean, if only there was, but there's not. But he's not as extreme left as Keir Starmer and the gang around him. So I would hope that Labour do throw Starmer under the bus, and I expect that to happen in the summer. And as to whoever succeeds him, I don't know, don't care that much. It would be good fun if it was David Lammy, but it won't be. It won't be Angela Rayner. I think it's going to be Andy Burnham and Angela Rayner as a combo would work. But Andy Burnham has to get back into the Commons, you say. You can't be leader of the party if you're not in the Commons. So what does he do? And the answer is, well, what might happen, I suppose, is if they lose enough seats in May, it could be shortly after May, an obliging Labour MP does step down. Burnham steps in, and it's in a winnable seat. And there's not that very many winnable Labour seats. But if he was able to get one anyway, that would get him in, and then it would be game on. Carl says Farage's very woke in many things. And James Jameson says, if it's Ed Miliband, I'm leaving. Well, yeah, I mean, the thing about it, Ed Miliband, it's worth saying, just to point it out, he's the most popular amongst the Labour rank and file. And that tells you all you need to know about the Labour rank and file. These people are a bunch of lunatics. That's why, as I said, that's the existential problem that whoever leads the Labour Party has. You're basically herding sheep. That's what you're doing. And at any moment, they're all going to run off in different directions, all of and that's why they only got themselves elected, because the Conservatives were so bad. The Conservatives were so useless in 2024, 14 years of betrayal. So I'm just reading your comments here. 14 years of betrayal by the Conservatives led to Labour getting elected, but it was a very thin victory. I don't believe anyone was passionately, fervently in favour of Labour in summer 2024. They weren't. It's just that they hated the Conservatives. No, we're not talking about we're talking about David Lammy, not Lemmy, the bloke who, I think he's dead now. He was in Motorhead, actually, the Ace of Spades and all of that. Well, here's an interesting comment. Iranians only trust Tommy Robinson. Very good. Well, of course, the thing about Iranians is that they're demonized. Well, they're misrepresented in the Western media. The Western media wants us to all think that all Iranians are kind of deep, devout Shia Muslims, and they all want the supreme leader and all the rest of that. They're not. When we know that. And the same with Tommy Robinson. The Western media completely misrepresent Tommy as well, I think. And the changes that are going to come, as I say, if this happens in Iran, you just watch the changes that will happen. This will shatter things globally. It'll create new alliances, good alliances, I think. And I think it'll probably make the world a safer place as well. I mean, who wants mad mullahs who've got nuclear capabilities? Nobody wants that. And of course, last year, obviously, the US took out or significantly degraded the Iranians' nuclear capabilities, but they still want them. What do they want them for? Well, I think we all know why they want them. These are people that, under no circumstances should be given nuclear capability. I see a bit of a discussion going on about scrapping the two-child allowance. Yeah, well, I completely oppose that. That's just that's trying to win Muslim votes in the May election. That's what that's about, by the way. So we'll not worry too much about that. So look, there you have it, my friends. We covered a lot of ground there. Big issues, big issue in Venezuela. Small issue with Tim Walz, but he's weird. Big issue in Iran. Big issue in Iran. And when all this plays out, as it will do in the weeks ahead, you can expect to get me covering this here on the live stream, over on my Substacks, over on my podcast, even on my Blessed X. You can find it all from me. This show will be going through a few changes in the weeks ahead, so you can look out for that as well. But above all else, if you've enjoyed this, please share it, and please make sure you come back same time next week, at which point I don't know what more will have happened. As I say, in the space of just 5 days. 5 days. Carl, thanks. I know I'm not weird. Tim Walz, he's the weird guy. Oh, Tim Walz claimed that JD Vance was weird. So so hit the like if you're watching this over on the YouTubes. We're going to try and build up YouTube a bit more this year as well. So whichever platform you're watching on anyway, I hope you'll enjoy the content. I do my best to put as much out as I can do. And I do it across all the different platforms. So whether you're in Facebook, whether you're in YouTube, whether you're in X, Getter, Rumble, wherever you're watching, getting my content from, I just want to thank you. Here's to a great 2026 together. There will be a live podcast this week. I'm pleased to say that also returns. So yeah, we've shaken off all the holiday stuff. and we're back to business as normal. So I hope you'll join me live on Thursday night on the podcast. But from for tonight, from this show anyway, thank you very much for being here, and catch you all real soon. Good night.